Here at the National Center, the way we are affecting change is through collaborative processes that fully engage scientists in the policy decision-making process. And our primary goal is to bring scientists to decision makers and have decision makers ask questions of scientists regarding policy outcomes and potential new policy developments. And we've formed this National Science Advisory Board that consists of 15 very luminary scientists that are working with us on reaching policymakers. We have done a number of briefings in the Senate and House on energy policy, on climate change, on post-fire recovery processes, and we will continue to do that kind of outreach with decision makers in the coming years. And what we're trying to do is get more scientists to get engaged in the policy process so that the policymakers can make use of the best available science in evaluating policy outcomes. Well, regarding the problem that we face today in terms of the role of science in policy is we have witnessed for the past 7 years an unprecedented attack on the high-quality standards of science and its application in the policy arena. This administration has overturned endangered species decisions made by Fish and Wildlife Service scientists. It has altered climate change documents. It has leaked sensitive regulations on the environment to industry. It has overturned clean air and clean water standards in favor of industry, manipulating science along the way. So I think we are in a point where, or a time for where science needs to be more effectively engaged in the decision-making process that's taking place on policy issues regarding natural resources. And scientists are fairly reluctant to speak out on policy issues because there's a concern that it compromises objectivity and the scientific process. And I respect that decision, or I respect that view. But I also think that there's another view that holds pretty strong in my heart, that scientists have an obligation to engage in the policy arena. And some of our most famous and brightest scientists have been involved in that historically. Albert Einstein was involved in policy. So was Rachel Carson, Carl Sagan, just to name a few. Those were scientists that stood up and were able to project their science in an objective way that was meaningful to society. And I support that approach and that ability of scientists to more effectively engage in decision making, because I think that we as scientists have that obligation to society to communicate our results in a user-friendly way so that society can make informed decisions about the outcomes of natural resource policy decisions.